Rather as a must-win game, 0-9 in Q1 games, and you guys are being talked about more than anybody about NCAA bubble stuff. So is this a must-win game?
I feel like every game is a must-win game. That's just what it is, and we focus on Sunday, and I feel like it's a must-win game.
How aware are you of the chatter about the NCAA tournament bubble? And it's no matter what game you watch, when it comes up, you guys are one of the first teams talked about.
We focus on NC State. We're not focusing on what's we control the controllable, and that's NC State.
Caleb, Coach Davis said after the game the other night and again today that he's looked this week and maybe tweaking some things. What have those looked like in practice? What does he sort of emphasize to you this week as things that he might want to alter to try and improve some of the offense?
Just our spacing and the way we run our offense. He hasn't really focused on telling us specifically. I'm sure he'll change that in practice today, and you'll see it in the game at NC State. But he hasn't really spoke specifically on what he'll change.
But spacing has been one of his emphasis. Okay.
How do you try to go about getting better spacing? What does that look like? I mean, you guys throw the ball to Armando. You guys are. It looks like you guys are nicely spaced around the perimeter. It just comes down to making shots. How do you try to go about improving the space?
Just what you said, making shots. I think that's
it's really that simple. I guess.
That's what'll change everything. It's just us making shots and us having the confidence and taking and making those shots.
Have you been in the gym more this week as a result of trying to do that?
I mean, I'm always in the gym. So my routine doesn't change whether I go 9 for 9 or 1 for 9. So I'm always in the gym.
Have you, offensively, have y'all tried anything different that stands out in particular in terms of, Coach Davis talked about getting the ball to Armando in different ways or get on transition. Anything you can point to that's a little bit different this week in terms of tweaks?
Definitely getting it out in transition just for us to get more easy buckets and passing the ball to Armando. Sometimes it's us cutting, us setting screens, doing a lot of those to free up him, and then also get more open shots for us. As they try to pack in, but I feel like it's just we just got to, like I said, take and make those open shots.
Why do you think this season there hasn't been as much transition offense for y'all? I mean, you stress it when we ask you about it. You say it's important, but do you think anything stands out as to why it hasn't happened this year?
I'm not really sure. It's just this is a different team, and I feel like the more and more we emphasize it, these past 3-4 games, and we've been getting more transition buckets, and I just think we didn't really emphasize it as much earlier in the season, mid-season, but now that we are, I feel like that we are getting more runouts and league outs.
Caleb, what kind of scene, as you're mentally preparing to play NC State, what kind of scene are you envisioning over there in Raleigh? They were obviously not happy about how the game went here 4 weeks ago, whatever it is, and they usually get pretty jacked up to see the Carolina Blue. What do you think you're gonna find when you get over there on Sunday?
I mean, it's a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday, so I expect it to be loud and fans going crazy, but we going in there looking for a win, and for us, I just feel like the best part for us to see them shut up.
Have you had any weird interactions with State fans living here the last 3 years?
Nah, not really.
It's a good question.
I didn't really, get it my freshman year, obviously, because it was, COVID. There wasn't no fans, and then my sophomore year, they weren't as good as they were this year. So, but I think now that they are as good as they are here, they'll get a pretty good crowd. So,
But nothing around town or hanging out anywhere.
More Duke than State.
We should ask you at 3 o'clock on Sunday. What would you say then?
We will.
Yeah.
Sure.
So would you say you hadn't really been exposed to what this rivalry has been because of that?
Nah, I wouldn't even say it's a rivalry. It's I wouldn't even say it's a rival. It's just another game.
How has this week been in terms of locker room demeanor? How do the guys feel? I mean, Armando said after the game the other night, we understand the situation that we're in right now. How would you sort of describe what you guys are feeling right now?
I mean, I feel we attacked our practice, with a positive mindset, and will and a want to get better and better. Obviously, we can't change what happened already, and we're not looking too far ahead. So I feel like, our mindset is just, one game at a time. And if we focus on one game at a time, everything else will work out.
Did you feel like you guys had turned a corner against Clemson and then turned right back the other way against Miami? I mean, I'm not trying to say that you did, but did you feel like, I don't know, it seemed like after Clemson it was like you guys were freed up, like unburdened, and then Miami it kind of went back in a bad direction.
Yeah, that's been a kind of an issue for us this year, as far as just consistency. And yeah, I definitely felt like we did take a big step forward as far as beating Clemson and playing as well as we did, and then we kind of took one backwards playing the Miami game. But I mean, things happen, and we've learned from that game, and we grew from that game as far as our mindset and us not worrying about what the outsiders say, or getting too hung up into what other people expectations are for us. And so I just feel like Coach Davis has kept us one game at a time, and once we'll let everything else play out.
Have you sensed any frustration from Pete? Do you guys have any conversations with him to kind of pull him through some of the struggles that he's had of late?
I mean, yeah, it's evident, that he is frustrated, which he should be, because, he's not shooting the ball as well right now. And I told him the other day that I've been there before, and multiple times in my career. And so just one thing about it, just keep trusting your work, keep getting in the gym. I see how much work he puts in, and just trying to keep his confidence high. Don't lose your confidence, because it's hard to get that. It's harder to get that back if you lose it. And so I'm just trying to keep his confidence high. Every time I pass it to him, I tell him shoot it, and if he misses, good shot. I'm still encouraging him because one thing about it is that, when you're shooting the ball and it's not going your way, and you're a good shooter, the table's gonna turn. Like it's just how basketball goes. So that once that switch turns, and he gets out of his so-called slump, I feel like it's gonna be up from there.
Couple more, he's gotta go to practice.
Is he too hard on himself, Pete?
I mean, I feel like we all are. We all kind of got that, same mentality as, we want to make every shot. We want to get every defensive stop. We want to, play the right way all the time. But, it's basketball. Things not going to go your way all the time. And, he does get on himself. He's, his biggest critic. And I feel like, that's why he is a great player, because he is hard on himself. He cares about the game, and he cares about, how he plays. If he didn't, I think that would be more of an issue. And so, I'm just, like I said, I just try to tell him to be positive and don't lose his confidence.
One more, anybody?
What? I feel like I've asked too many. I'll throw another one out there. I mean, the whole situation with Terquavian and Leaky from the first game, the foul that goes down and gets stretchered off. Like, did you feel like, is there any bad blood there? Like, it seemed like Leaky reached out to Baby T and like apologized, and he said, Terquavian said they were cool, and he'd always looked up to Leaky. Like, how do you see that relationship as you're going into Sunday between this guy who'll probably be guarding again, who's NC State's best player?
None. I don't think it's none. Leaky tried to make a basketball play, and fortunately, Terquavian was okay, and that's just what it was.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you, Coach.